Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to learn algebra. Today is our lesson number 191. Day 191, we are in the process of solving word problems from day 101 through 200. Today is our 91st day. The problem for today is already on the blackboard. Let's read it. It says A is thrice as old as B. What does thrice mean? A is thrice as old as B. Type in vocab dash day 63. Just like you're watching this video right now for algebra, I have put together videos to help you improve your vocabulary as well as mine. And if you're interested in learning this word thrice, which means 3 times as much, just type in Keshwani Prep dash vocab dash day 63. Just type in that tag day 60 vocab dash day 63, and you will learn that word along with some other good words. Particularly if you're planning in near future to sit for the SAT or the GRE or GMAT or even TOEFL, it is important to have decent vocabulary. Anyway, A is thrice as old as B. A is 3 times as old as B. 12 years ago, we were told that he was 11 times as old as B. Question simply is, how old is A going to be in 5 years' time? That's all. Pause the video, solve it yourself. When you have the answer, you can resume it and compare your work with the work that we are about to do together, okay? As always. Here's the solution. Let's pretend that B is B years old. Person B, with the capital letter B, his name is B years old, the small letter b. Why are we starting with B? Because the A's age is given in reference to B's. We are told that A is 3 times as old as B. So if A is 3 times as old as B, it will be helpful, it will be easier if we first establish B's age, then we can talk about how old A is. If B is 5 years old, then we know that A is 15 years old. If B is 20 years old, then we know the B is if B is 30 years old, then we know A is 90 years old. If B is 15 years old, then A is 45 years old. We need to establish B's age first before we can talk about A, because A, we know A's age depends on B, because A has to be 3 times as old as B. So let's pretend that B is B years old. If that were the case, then that would imply that A would have to be 3 times B years old. Makes sense? Now let's talk about what happens 12 years ago. 12 years ago, B was, how old was B 12 years ago? Well, we're pretending that Mr. B is B years old today. If he's B years old today, B is some quantity we do not know obviously. If he's B years old today, then 12 years ago, he must have been 12 years less than what his age is today. So it stands to reason. So if he's B years old today, then 12 years ago, he must have been 12 less than that. 12 years ago, B was B minus 12 years old. Now we know how old A is today. Today, A's age is 3 times B. So A must have been this amount, 3 times B minus 12 years old. Simple enough. It must have been 3 times b minus 12 That's how many years he must have been old 12 years ago. We just take a bit 12 from his current age, his present age. That's it, we are almost there. We are told that A's age 12 years ago, A's age 12 years ago, 12 years ago, A was 11 times as old as B. So whatever A's age is was 11 times 12 years ago, A was 11 times as old as B. So A's age 12 years ago must have been, not must have been, rather, is, because we are told that A's age 12 years ago was 11 times B's age, which we know is B minus 12. 11 times B's age. Then B's age 12 years ago. That's it, that's our equation. Getting the equation is the most difficult part. There's the biggest hurdle in solving an algebra problem. Solving the algebraic equation actually is not that bad. It's not that complicated. It's pretty straightforward. Making sure that you have the right equation to work with is a different story altogether. So there is your equation. We just have to put in our things here. A's age 12 years ago, A must have been this amount, 3 minus B minus 12. This amount has to equal 11 times B's age 12 years ago, which is B minus 12. That's it. Now all we have to do is solve this equation. I'm going to solve this equation on the top so that it's easier for us to see. We no longer need the question. The question is there. We no longer need it. We're done with it. So I'm going to get rid of it and solve the thing up here on the top. Now remember what the punchline is. The punchline is, what they're asking here is not how old A and B are today, but rather the question is, how old will A be in 5 years' time? So when we find A's age, we have to remember to add 5 to it in order to answer the question. Otherwise, we'll end up picking the wrong answer. Had it been a multiple choice question, then one of the answer choices is going to be his age today. But that's not what the question asks. The question is asking how old is he going to be 5 years from now. So once you find how old he is today, the story doesn't end there. We have to add 5 to it to actually answer the question that is being posed, which is how old will he be in 5 years' time. So let's continue. Here's our equation. 3b minus 12 equals 11 times b minus 12. So 3b minus 12 equals 11 times b is 11b, and then 11 times 12. 11 times 12, I know 10 times 12 is 120. I know that for a fact. 10 times 12 is 120, therefore 11 times 12 must be 12 more than that. 120 plus 12 is 132. Do not reach for the calculator. Leave the bloody thing alone, as I always tell you in every video. Leave it alone. Give it a rest, okay? This 11b, if you were to bring this 11b on this side, we'll end up with a negative coefficient. I don't want that, so let's bring this 3b here. Subtract 3b from both sides. And then let's bring this guy over here. So let's add 132 to both sides. And what we end up is this positive 3b and this negative 3b, they cancel out, of course, that was the whole point. Positive 132 minus 12, we just talked about it. 132 represented 11 12s. If we were to take away 1 12, we are left with 10 12, which is 120. Equals 11b, this is positive 11, this is negative 3b. 11b minus 3b is 8b, and that cancels out. Let's divide both sides by 8. And let's bring this equal sign down so it lines up properly with the fraction. That's it. We're almost there. This 8 cancels out. 120 divided by 8. Where should I do it? I don't want to do it here because I don't want to get it too crowded. Let's do it here. 120 over 8. How many 8s in a 1? How many 8s in 1? There are 0 8s in this one. This one goes and joins this guy. Becomes 12. How many 8 in a 12? How many 8 in 12? There is 1 8 in a 12. The remaining 4 from 12 goes and joins this guy. Becomes 40. How many 8 in 40? There are 5 8 in a 40. So it turns out that B equals 15. B equals 15. And now what did B represent? We have to go back to our work and make sure that we understand what we have just found. What did we say B was? We said let's pretend B's age is B-year-old. I'm using B as in capital B as in his name and the small b for his age, and you understand that. So B represents the guy, Mr. B's age today. What was the question asking? How old will A be in 5 years' time? So not only we're not interested in B's, we still have to find A's age, but once we find the A's age today, as I told you before, we'll have to add 5 to it. So let's find out then. So let's continue. I need the room, so I'll need to erase it. So this tells us that B is 15. B is 15. What did the question say about A? Oh, we were told in the beginning that A is thrice as old as B. That makes it easy. So A must be 3 times 15 or 45 years old. When? Now. A must be 45 years old now. Now, as I already explained to you before, had it been a multiple choice question, one of the multiple choice answers is going to be 45. For those people who are careless, 45 is A's age today. The question is, how old will he be 5 years from now? Well, that would imply, if he's 45 now, then that would imply that A is going to be 45 plus 5 or 50 years old. 50 years old. 5 years from now. Voila. A is going to be 50 years old 5 years from now. That is our answer. And that is our final answer. Do you understand? That's it. We're done. That was the end of the problem. That was the end of our day number 191. I will see you tomorrow on day number 192. Let's see what I have for tomorrow. Or tomorrow we have a different kind of problem. I know that helps you a lot. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Bye.